What's going on, Bully fam? It's your boy, the educator, the scientist, Mr. Double Muscle Line Bulls. I got Double Muscle Line Ant with me. Whenever we got a litter that drops, it's my partner. I always make sure, when there's a litter that drops, he handles a lot of the whelping side of things. So we had a little bit of a drive, so we figured we'd go ahead and, just bring you guys in on the conversation that we were actually just having. So the thing is that we were talking about, the things, we just had our litter from Puff that dropped, and when we were packaging up, all the things that we needed to pick up the puppies, we thought this would be a good, topic to talk on. And the key, and the topic is really setting yourself up for success from day one. When you go to pick up puppies, it starts then. It doesn't start when you bring the puppies home. And what I mean by that is just the aspect of setting yourself up for success. Because with these puppies, what happens is when you're whelping a litter, when you're whelping puppies, if you get behind, if puppies are hungry, whatever the case may be, it's very hard to catch back up. So if you're on top of it from day one, your experience whelping the litter is going to be a lot more easier. It doesn't keep you out of anything. Anything can happen, but it usually makes things a lot easier and keeps you out of trouble. Yeah, so I mean, like, the first thing to be mindful of, guys, is like some of the things that you need to bring when you're going to pick up your puppies. I highly recommend not just going to the vet and picking the puppies up with a box and some blankets.
That's usually what they give you.
Yeah, that's usually what they give you. And these vets are great, but that's honestly, in my opinion, not going to really start you off and set you up for success. What I think, what we bring when we pick up puppies, for example, is an incubator. We have a travel incubator. I'll try to put a picture or something like that. But like, an incubator is key. It's going to keep them warm on the trip, because for some people, like us, for example, when we do C-sections and have C-sections done on our dogs, it's like a good hour, 2-hour drive. You got to be able to keep them warm. And if you bring them home and you didn't have some kind of heat source keeping them warm, especially a heat source that monitors the temperature, that's one issue that you'll be thinking, like, hey, are my puppies, was it too cold for them? Was the ride too long and was too cold for them? Another thing, what's some other things that we send our puppies with? When we pick up puppies,
make sure we got, we have tube feeding kit,
a tube feeding kit,
a scale, to keep track of their weights, to know how much they, how many cc's of milk to give them. Bringing some milk,
so those are all things, like I said, like, you need to have like a travel kit ready when you're going to do these C-sections for your females, like the incubator, having a warm source to bring them home. If you live maybe 10-20 minutes away, that's a different story. You may not need the incubator. You might be able to get away with the blankets, but I don't take any chances. Another thing is, like he was just saying, tube feeding kits. I'll give you a prime example of this litter that just dropped. What we had to do. The vet's office is about a 2-hour drive. It's 4-hour drive. I'm sorry. It's a 4-hour drive. So when taking the puppies from the vet, Anthony had to make sure that he stopped and tube fed the puppies, because of the trip and because of the mother not producing enough milk at the moment. So those are all things that you need to be mindful of, because, for example, somebody thinking they can go ahead and, I'll just feed them when I get home. Like, in my experience with these puppies, it's safe to say, like, hours is the same as like days for us humans. And if you let a puppy go hours without eating, and I'm gonna just say this for the record, because I get a lot of people who DM me and ask me, newborn puppies, for the first it was 2-3 weeks, they need to eat every 2 hours.
That's crucial.
As they get older, you might be able to push it to 3, but what was it that we were saying? Like it's a real 2 hours every 2 hours, 24/7. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sun up, sun down.
Yeah, not when you wake up, not when you go to sleep. No, it's every 2 hours, just like a newborn child. You know, so that's something to be mindful of. So with that being said, your clock starts right when you pick up the puppies from the vet. So another key thing that I had people contact us about, I wanted to touch on, was that some places that you may get a C-section, they may not put your puppies to feed on the mother.
Yeah, you can't be, even though you're dealing with, vets and people that are knowledgeable and stuff like that, you can't be scared to ask. You know what I mean? You have to ask for your reassurance, for their reassurance.
Yeah.
Just to cover all bases, because you may go in there thinking, all right, puppies are good. They gave me the puppies back. I got 2 hours, but in reality, they were born 3 hours prior to that, and they've gone. Now they've gone 5 hours without eating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So every meal is crucial. Every feeding is crucial to their growth. So missing one, you may not think it might be a big deal, or in that moment, you might think, oh, the puppy seems fine and all this and that, but in the long run, that's what those little small things play a big factor.
And you have to remember that puppies are in a very rapid state of growing. So when you put them, like say you miss a feeding, you're putting them in a caloric deficit. And what happens is their bodies are, now when you try to feed them, their bodies are trying to intake what they missed out on and grow at the same time. It's very traumatic to their bodies. They have to eat every 2 hours, and so like I was saying, these vets, you have to ask, and that's the first question I ask them whenever I pick them up. When was the last time that they ate? And then, like I said, having that kit that we put together, and I think I'm going to do an episode on this, of what we bring, but having that kit, for example, having something that keeps them warm for the trip home. If you have puppies that you bring home that are cold because you didn't have an incubator to bring them home in, and then now you're feeding them, that's a recipe for disaster. Never feed cold puppies, So this is where a lot of people wind up, losing puppies very early in the game because they didn't set themselves up for success to start, So I mean, you want to have, like I said, well, let's just do the example of what we did, right? So we went ahead, we packed up our little care kit. It was the incubator. We packed not the whole recipe that I show you guys how to make, but just regular goat's milk. Yet again, this is just for to get them home. So regular powdered goat's milk, a container with some measuring spoons to go ahead and be able to make the goat's milk on the road, a tube feeding kit to be able to tube feed them all on the road, and I think a scale, and I think that's about it. Like I said, I'll do an episode more in detail, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and we winded up having to use them, because of the length amount of, the road trip, and I don't really think that the female, I mean, it's still very early, but I don't think she was really producing enough milk. So I think they were already hungry when we picked them up. You know what I'm saying? So exactly, so it's just all about, like I'll give you guys an example, right? I know someone that contacted us and had questions, and it was very unfortunate for them, but what ended up happening was they got a C-section done. The place that they got the C-section done didn't feed the puppies when they left with the puppies. They drove home. It was a few, I forgot how many hours, 2-3 hour drive home. And when they got home, the puppies were so starving, that was one of the things they wound up losing their litter, because, and I'm sorry, it wasn't also because they were starving. It was also because they were cold, because they had them in a box with blankets, but the blankets weren't warm enough, so stuff like that happens all the time. And then people think that, it was, they'll think of, 100 different things, but in reality, you just didn't start off on the right foot.
Yeah. Like the littlest things play the biggest roles,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Having just something so simple as the temperature, if the temperatures are off, if the puppies are cold, that plays effect with the whole digestive system and them digesting the foods and stuff like that. So, if the puppy is cold and it got a belly full of formula, but it's, there's no warmth for it to
digest
digest it and break it down, that's all gonna sit there, and then that's when you start getting, other causing
other
problems,
issues. Yeah, exactly.
Just from it being cold,
Exactly. Yeah. Puppies need that right away. They really kind of need an environment similar to being inside of their mother's stomach, right when you do the C-section. So, I mean, the moral I think of this story is really, guys, set yourself up for success from day one, and you won't have to worry so much about losing puppies. You'll be really on the right track, and they'll grow and develop really healthy and very fast. But you have to set yourself up for success from day one. You can't get lazy and not prepare, and then when the puppies are born, you're trying to find a tube feeding kit in the middle of the night. That's not going to happen, and unfortunately, you'll probably lose the puppies. So, anyway, if you guys need any of those items, you can jump on breedershacks.com, guys. We have the incubators, we have the tube feeding kits. We pretty much have everything you're going to need when you're bringing these puppies home from the vet to set you up for success. Everything that we have on the site is stuff that we personally use ourselves, right? We made a promise. We would never sell anything on the site that we don't use ourselves on a regular basis. So, all right, guys, we finally got home. Got to get back to these puppies. Got to make a few episodes about these guys as well. And I see you guys on the next episode of Breeders Hacks.